coming as Australia's most important security partner, the United States, flexed its muscle, and 9 News was on board. National Affairs Editor Andrew Probert.
US naval might visits our shores, a projection of raw military power after prowling contested seas. USS America is part aircraft carrier and part amphibious assault ship. Its decks bristle with Joint Strike Fighter jets and Navy helicopters. Among its 2,500 crew, a crack team of Marines.
On the ship you have SEALs, you have EOD, you have pilots.
We see that we need to be ready at all times. And so, every day, 365 days a year.
Lieutenant Commander Craig Hamilton has been Australian liaison on board USS America for 18 months.
It's a very strong partnership, and we continue to grow our partnership with the US.
Peace, security, stability is a team sport.
At a time of global uncertainty, the presence of USS America is a reminder of how much Australia and the Indo-Pacific relies on the United States for regional security, even in the company of old alliances. Forging peace, an expensive business.
Australia has been run by, was under the suzerainty, and that's a word everyone's going to have to get used to, suzerainty, S-U-Z, suzerainty, under the suzerainty of Great Britain, and then under the suzerainty of the cabal through the United States Corporation. We have never, if ever, been sovereign. There might have been a moment here and there, but it's been a lie.
It's Freedom Friday, guys. It's Freedom Friday. Today we're talking about Liberation Day. You've been liberated. You're welcome. I get no appreciation. Nobody listens to me. If only people knew. The truth is just so much better than the truth is so amazing. Wow. Same week you've got Trump declaring it Liberation Day. You've got the kings, the two great kings, the greatest kings in the crowd. And then same week you've got the greatest secrets of the king's chamber of the Great Pyramid being revealed.
As this mystery continues to deepen, what else might we find underneath this pyramid?
The first discovery that we made along the north wall of the king's chamber is the Abus bull.
You can see the bull literally right on in the drawing.
Yeah.
Right here.
It becomes so obvious when it's obvious. On the Flower of Life, as like the keeper of secrets of Orion, that the right hand is exactly in the position that qualifies it as the missing 1/14th zodiac sign.
It's encrypted right in between the two, this little man, this egoic man. It's exactly where the Alpha and Omega are. And then it goes around like this, and then it says Alpha QW written in the wall.
And then, it's right there. That is the pointing to the winter solstice. It's exactly there.
So this is the tree potentially growing out of it. And this is a drawing that I had drawn 4 years ago in a channeling. And then at the top, you have this furnace that's creating the tree growing out of it, which is this merger of masculine and feminine at the Alpha Chi Omega point. The resurrection of Osiris. The Apis and Hathor. That I called it the alchemical union, the alchemical marriage. So I ended up getting shadow banned on Instagram for 6 months because of that, which also is kind of symbolic. I was like touching on forbidden knowledge or something.
Yeah.
And then, of course, here's Cetus. This monster is known as the Kraken. It's a female sea monster.
Trump and his team was saving the world from this despicable evil empire. Like, they literally have Jesus Christ times 2. It's a long story. On the team. Isn't that just poetic justice? Who are the, ultimate white hats? Jesus Christ. It's the ultimate white hat. They're working together. America is the light of the world. I mean, look how fucked Australia is. Look how fucked the United Kingdom is. America. Like, thank God that they have the military that they have.
And so what we decided to do differently as part of A1 was to set an intention. Now, in the military, when you set an intention, this is a high-level mission, let's say, but the words are different the higher you go. It comprises three parts: purpose, method, and end state. Now, our purpose is straightforward: to save Australia. That way, if you forget everything else, everything we have to do has to save the country. The end state method reveals itself once you do your analysis. So I'll come to that last. Let's talk about the end state very briefly. Our end state is this: that Australia is a moral, sovereign, self-reliant, Christian, Western, constitutional republic, which is economically powerful, militarily intimidating, politically free, culturally vibrant, and socially cohesive. Now, that's not a marketing statement. That's a to-do list. That's the prism through which we examine every possible issue. And if it contributes to it, it's in. If it deviates from that end state to the least degree, we discard it. That's how we can analyze situations quickly. But here's the magic to what we're doing. How are we going to do this? Well, we chose the most difficult, never tried before method. And here's why. This method is necessary. Unless we create the Australia this way, the exact problems we're facing now will rear their ugly heads very quickly again. And here's how we're going to do it. We create a moral political party which empowers every Australian to reach their highest individual potential, so collectively all may participate in the reformation of Australia. And this is key. We have to lift everybody with us. This isn't about the great man theory of history, follow me and I'll do what's good for you. No, this is a slow educational process which will raise each individual to take an active part in this country. If we do this, and we will, we can guarantee that the terrible situation that we in Australia and the rest of the world finds itself in will never happen again. We must start anew. We must take control of our countries, all of us. This is no longer the opportunity to just clean out the filth and then continue as usual. Can't happen. Won't happen. Because we have not been a sovereign country. We wish to take our future in our hands. I and certainly the A1 supporters not interested in a constitutional monarchy. Sorry. And it's interesting. It's also important for the common law people who are very keen to hold up Magna Carta, both versions, and recite Article 61 and say this is the source of our power. And Article 61 talks about many things. But how on earth does a sovereign being wait for permission from a king who got his royalty at the point of a sword? Why do we have to take permission from anybody? And this is, and as we're going through this, ladies and gentlemen, please understand, you are sovereign. And I'm going to say that 1,000 times. You are sovereign. You are the source of law. Nobody else. You. There's only one entity above you, and that's God. We're going to institute counties on the American model, but we're going to change that to new and improved. But counties where maximum political power, real power, the authority to direct the sheriff, the judge, and the mayor to the ends of the people is critical. As much power as low as possible. And then after some time, when we establish counties and the people have proven their ability to run counties, which is not easy. This is tough stuff. They might get the opportunity then to elevate themselves and run states, maybe. And then eventually they'll learn the gentle art of, and the hard science of running the most complex of organizations, a modern Western constitutional republic. And so I've been upfront because to me, the bitterest truth is preferable to the sweetest lie. And any endeavor that starts on a lie is destined to fail. Now, we might still fail, but at least the people know the truth. And so that's the way we've approached it. No more of these deceptions. I understand the need for concealment for national security. No problem with that. But this idea that the people can be brainwashed, can be the subject of propaganda. It's ipso facto treason. If they are sovereign, they have to be taken into account. And if they are not ready for that responsibility, they have to be helped into that position. And so that's why we've been taking this. And I'm very excited about the next few years. I have absolutely no problem working hand in glove with the US. Many Australians have no problem with that. Some people do. Most people still haven't woken up to that fact yet. But when the truth is laid out in front of them, more often than not, the Australians will go, yeah, okay. Because that's the way we are.
Australia 1 policy brief. Okay. Aims and objectives. Okay. So you've got 6 main sections. Okay, you've got Australian economic power. There's a lot of room for improvement there. Australian military intimidation. There's a lot of room for improvement there. Australian political freedom. There's a lot of room for improvement there. Australian sovereignty. There's a lot of room for improvement there. Australian self-reliance. There's a lot of room for improvement there. There's a lot of room for improvement in Australia. Define political Islam as a banned ideology. Love it.
And we don't have a race-based immigration plan. We have a culture-based immigration plan because I've said it a million times, folks. I'm glad they're well presented, intelligent, whatever. But if they believe in Vishnu, and let's say we've got a population of 25 million and it drops to 15 million, and then we get another 10 million Indians, this place ceases to be a Christian country. And I'm not interested in living in under a supremacist religion like Hinduism or Judaism or Islam or any of that stuff, folks. This is critical. So I got no problem with Indians. A mate of mine was an Indian Navy nuclear subcommander. Great people, no problem. I got friends who are Muslims. I got friends that are fill in the blank. But yeah, we're going to need people, but we need to retain what this country is. Why do you think Indians are coming to Oz? Think about it. Why are they coming here? This country, at the centre of its culture, it's not for the meat pies and the beer and the footy. It's a beautiful place to live because at the centre of its culture is this Christian idea of Imago Dei, the image of God. We are all equal. Doesn't matter how tall, fat, thin, black, white, brown, makes no difference. We're all equal. And those of us who are less advantaged in terms of intellectual capacity or whatever, it's up to the others who have the advantage to help those that don't. This is the basis of it. I hate to break the news to you, but India's not like that. Pakistan's not like that. The Middle East is not like that. Folks, we're living in heaven and we're treating it like a rubbish pile. I have no problem with any race. I have a big problem with the cultural centre of their life being their religion. That's why we need to reinforce what we are and not become something else. Maybe we should send kids at year 10 to take a 2-month holiday in some shithole overseas, and by the time they come back, they'll understand why they'll be working their tails off. And as I said, working like the Indians do, doing things really well instead of being that sloppy, she'll be right, couldn't give a fuck Australian attitude when it comes to service or attention to detail. Why should a little Jewish boy in Australia have fewer rights than another Christian boy? Why should he have his foreskin cut off because that religion and their lunatic God requires it? No. The Australian secular law, our policy of the Australian secular law is based on its Christian ethics. That's what it is. You don't have to be a Christian, but you can enjoy the benefits. Why do you think Muslims are coming here in their huge numbers as well? Because living in an Islamic country where it's really serious is not a fun place to be. Why should a little Islamic girl have fewer rights than any other Australian girl by having a labia cut off, stitched up so tightly that you can barely get a cotton bud through? And this was from a nurse in Australia, in Sydney, from her own experience in cleaning up the mess from these lunatics. And that's another lunatic religion with another lunatic God that requires lunatic behavior by its adherents. And then you've got Hinduism, where you have the caste system, at the 7 castes, and at the top you've got the Brahmins, at the bottom you've got the untouchables. And it doesn't matter what you do, you may not elevate yourself. And the Brahmins, my God, the arrogance, because they are Brahmin. And if anybody thinks, well, why don't we have no religion? Okay, well, let's look at the countries that, the countries or the belief systems that believe in no religion and see how they did after in the last 100 years. Let's see, communism and Nazism, 100 million dead between the two of them. Good going, folks. No God. Brilliant. Well done. No God, no soul. Humans don't matter. Post-birth abortion up to the age of 2. Kick it around the room like a football. Eat it, rape it, throw it in the garbage. Makes no difference, says Peter Singer. People start saying, oh, well, I don't like Christians. Neither do I. I think we've got more bullshit Christians in this country than we need. And I mean it. My God, I've never seen a bunch of limp-dicked individuals. And that's just the women. Wait till you see the men. Oh, I'm a Christian. No, you're not. I cannot recall when Jesus Christ sidled up to the Pharisees and said, tell you what, I'll go easy on the Son of God shit if you just don't nail me to the tree tomorrow. We've probably got 6 Christians in this country. That's about it. The rest are bullshit Christians. I'm talking about the philosophical foundations of Christianity, not the execution of it as seen in Australia today by a bunch of limp dicks. Maybe. If we behaved like we're all important, that might be a good place to start. Because any other alternative ends in gulags, it ends in mass murders, genocides, torture, death.
The insane immigration that's happening, the invasion of the United Kingdom, the invasion of Europe, just inviting millions of people that don't value your culture. Maybe not the best idea I've ever seen, but hey, I'm a tough critic, what can I say? The beauty is that everybody is remembering where they come from, and we're beginning to focus on what makes us the same. People are seeking Christ. They're remembering that their society, that their entire way of life, their whole culture was built on the teachings of Christ, even though, yes, it has been distorted and corrupted. There's just this magic in the air. Something's different now. It's like people can feel there's a return of Christ, there is a resurrection of Christ happening, there is a return to Christ, of what that really means. Coming back to the heart, coming back home to center, to our power. On some level, they realize that He is back. There is this repeating story and theme. And that's because as above, so below. Just as the sun rises every morning, so too does these epic masters return and continue the play. It's the same story repeating, but always in a new way that is relevant to the times and needed for the times. It's a story that teaches us. Looking back at how the age of Pisces has been and the current challenges that we face and, the new age that we're transitioning into, one would wonder, okay, well, if Jesus is this master soul who keeps coming back and, what kind of story would He make now? What kind of story would serve humanity the most right now? The elephant in the room is human trafficking. these grooming gangs, these rape gangs in the UK. This is a story that we all need to look at because there's themes in there for everybody. Themes of religion and culture, and themes of masculine and feminine, themes of law and order. Like, hello, Russell Brand is being charged with rape for something in 1999. Meanwhile, you've got packs of fucking, you've got rape gangs, grooming gangs that just walk free. You know, the police just ignore it, even if they've got like literal rape victims there. Like the injustice of it, this is going to backfire on the British court system. This is a next level just disgrace. I mean, the reason they're going after Russell Brand is because he's tearing their lives to shreds. He is the real news in that country. And they don't like that. They don't want people to get news. So they can either call you a racist or they can call you a rapist. You know, in Islam, like, if you get raped, it's your own fault. Men are fucking animals. And, you know, that's life. They don't care. They don't have any compassion. That's why their women cover up and look like letterboxes. You know, because they're still stuck in like a fucking Neanderthal perception that, you know, a woman is, you know, she's just to be used for sex, and, you know, she's here to like make babies for me and do what I say when I say it. And not all of them think that, but, you know, generally, if I mean general, yeah, that's how they think. That's why they go around and fucking gang rape women, because, well, she thinks that she can, like, dare to show her beauty in public. Like, you know, and yeah, men are animals, and so are women. We're all animals. And we're meant to be animals. Like, we are animals. But we're also meant to, like, you know, learn to be civilized. Like, I don't want to trash Islam. Like, I could think of so many way better things to do with my time than to be talking about this. But at the moment, it is the elephant in the room, because if Europe and England, you know, keep going the way it's been going, we won't have a West anymore. We will lose everything. We need a civilization somewhere in the middle, you know. You can't have the West no values and, you know, every woman's just going on OnlyFans. But you can't, you know, Islam, like, you know, women, like, if you get raped, it's your own fault. No. Like, you know, no. This is a middle ground. God. Take your religion back to where you came from. Like, you should ban Islam in Christian countries. It shouldn't be allowed. If you want to live like that, go to the Middle East. But why do they all want to come here? Because we have freedom. We have, like, you know, we're civil. Because it's not like a shithole. It is actually, no, it is a shithole. The whole world's a shithole. Anyway. Ah. Oh my god. Oh. Call me the Wicked Bitch of the West. I'm the Wicked Witch of the West. And I'm here to tell you, like, fuck off. Go home. Like, you know, take a holiday, you know, but don't, you know, how dare you how dare these people go to England and, like, try to turn it into a Muslim country? Are you fucking kidding me? Like, how disrespectful. Like, the audacity to leave a shithole to go to a nice place and try to turn that into a shithole. Like, what? It's just stupidity. And stupidity, I don't know, I wonder, is like, shit, like, you know, what's the criminality of stupidity? I mean, you know, ignorance kills. I don't know, look, there's different levels. Like, I don't know these things, I'm just a girl, but, like, you know, rebuttal as well.
Those of you who've been watching this for some time know that this is a key issue for, well, it should be for everybody. There are animals that treat their offspring better than Australians do.
And I'll just say from my experience, so I've had 2 miscarriages. The last one was in 2022, and my little baby Bobby, I've watched a lot of videos, and people say they're just a clump of cells. Well, my baby was 11 weeks, and I can show you she had 2 little eyes, she had 2 little arms, 2 little legs. She wasn't just a clump of cells. They are the most beautiful little being, and we have to do everything we can to protect them. And as I've said time and time again, that's why I got involved with A1, because if we can't protect the kids, then what's the point? We have to protect these beautiful little babies.
Your body, your choice, absolutely. Do you know how it's done? No. Well, he shows them a short video, and within a few seconds they are really against it because they had no idea. There's this lack of information. Because again, you're not allowed to talk about it. You're not allowed to show videos on it. You will be lampooned, arrested, whatever. But once the young girls see what it means, they will stop. They just have no clue. They literally believe, oh, it's just a clump of cells. They just don't think. Social proof. If enough people believe it, certainly it must be true. Look, ladies and gentlemen, I do wish I was more measured. I do wish I didn't swear. I do wish I could keep a lid on the fury that's burning inside of me. And I apologize for the language. Having said that, if me saying fuck is more offensive than babies being ripped apart at the point of birth, then, you know, I'm sorry, but you've got issues. You have a problem. You know, what was the old saying? What would Jesus do? Well, I tell you what comes to mind. He's holding a whip and overturning the tables and beating the living shit out of the people doing this. I want each one of you, and you need to answer this question. You need to answer this question. And you know why? Because I've been banging on a lot about we're going to come under the suzerainty of the United States. And a lot of people, a lot of pushback. Oh, a lot of pushback. How dare you? Who are you? I'm sovereign. I'm this. I'm that. I'm really okay. Well, let's just do this the way Socrates might. Now, I won't do it as well as him because he was quite calm and collected about it. I get volcanic in my fury when I have to explain to fucking idiots that killing babies is not a good sign of a high civilization. But let's go through it anyway. I want every one of you listening to this right now and work out for yourself. And it'll take time. If you want to put it to one side and come back later, please do. But you need to know the answer to these questions. What is the source of your sovereignty? Is it God? God gave me dominion over the land and the animals? Is it God-given? Well, that works for some, but not for others. Is it aliens? Were we a bunch of monkeys that the aliens genetically modified us and created this? So therefore, do we have some subordinate role to the aliens, or do we at some point decide for ourselves, you know what, I think I might take charge of my own life. And that's a belief system for some, and that's great. I don't care. I'm not applying any judgment here. Or are you the source of your sovereignty, just your will to take command and control of your life, to accept the wins and losses, and accept that both the wins and the losses are your responsibility? Is that the source of your sovereignty? You're going to have to come up with an answer to that. When is sovereignty granted? Is it at conception, when that little flash of light occurs when the sperm enters the egg? Is it during the pregnancy at some arbitrary time? Oh, the heartbeat. Oh, at 12 weeks. Oh, at 22 weeks. Oh, whenever it interferes with my career in real estate. The sovereignty is granted to this child at the point of birth, when they take their first breath, which that moral imbecile, Bill Clinton, was convinced to say publicly when this debate was going on in the United States. Spineless, gutless. I won't call them animals. As I said, animals treat their offspring better than we do. So is it the point of birth? Or is it like Peter Singer, the man given Australia's highest award by Julia Gillard, member of Emily's List, whose job is to have full-term abortion nationwide, publicly funded, on demand, no questions asked. And they've recently achieved it. Every state in Australia now has exactly that. So well done, Julia Gillard, Tanya Plibersek, Penny Wong, and the rest of you Emily's Listers. Now, you wonder why I get furious at this subject. We have an entire fucking country, 26 million people, that just let this all sail through. We protested at Parliament, and there are a few thousand there, but everybody else, no, too hard. Too hard, too hard, too hard. But answer the question, when is sovereignty granted to this child? And you better be able to defend it, because I will crush you publicly if you have the temerity to come across with anything other than conception. Can you lose your right to your sovereignty, your freedom, your life, your property? Can you lose it? Sure, for crimes. But crimes against what? Individuals? Crimes against society? Crimes against humanity? What happens if you're in the back garden one day and the next door neighbours, unfortunately, they're a couple of meth heads, and they've got a child, and the child is neglected, doesn't get fed, it has sores, it's beaten when mum and dad can't get their hit. Now I'm talking to the men here. Are you going to sit there and just watch, or are you going to jump the fence and actually do something about it? You've never stepped into a fight in your life, have you? You're not a man. And I'm trying to make you ashamed of yourself, because being a weakling is not a crime. Staying a weakling is. Being a coward is not a crime. Staying a coward is. Gentlemen, you have allowed this to occur. Oh, I can't say anything. My wife might back and get cranky at me. Grow up here. So, back to the meth head couple next door. Do they lose the right to their child? Of course they do. You ring up the cops turn up. They give the Child Protective Services, and Child Protective Services on forwarded to the pedophile network. That's another story, but let's leave that one for the time being. And so they lose their child, then they get locked up. So they've lost their liberty and they've lost their child. And nobody would have a problem with that. Seems to make sense, doesn't it? Would you leave a child in that situation? Serious. Answer the question, would you leave a child in that situation? Hearing it cry every day because it hasn't been fed. And then you see it and it's got sores all over its body because it hasn't been changed. The nappy is full of 3-day-old feces. You're going to turn your back? What would you do? Would you take that child away from that family? Would you personally step in and pick it up and call the cops and say, I had to do it to save the baby? Regardless of what the Masonic filth, those pigs in blue with their tin badges and their bullshit guns are going to do, would you step in? Are you a sovereign or are you a slave? Animals look after their young better than we do. So, do some crimes warrant death? Let's think about this. Killing babies is fine, so why not capital punishment? Why not kill those who authorise the killing of babies? Politicians, they pass the laws, and the 27 million morons in Australia say because some moral imbecile in Canberra says it's okay, it must be okay. You have outsourced your morality to them? What? To that toe ball Peter Dutton? You're going to outsource your judgment to them? Are you kidding? Why not execute them for murder? The Nazis were held responsible for the system they created of work camps. So maybe, just maybe, the politicians and the bureaucracy should be held to account for the system they have created for the organised, state-sanctioned murder of babies. This is a serious business. This is a question of sovereignty. This is a question of your worthiness to govern yourselves. Now, if we elect the guilty at the next election, are we guilty of perpetuating the system? Full-term abortion is the election issue at the next election. There is no other issue. Ladies and gentlemen, nothing else matters. If we're killing babies, it doesn't matter what the GDP is. It doesn't matter whether you get 3 holidays to Bali. We do not warrant our own country. We are not worthy of governing ourselves. We're not worthy of trust, of anything, because we're killing babies. And they're going to try to distract you. Better roads, more jobs. Interest rates.
We have to value life again. Killing babies is not a sign of a high society. Like, this is why America has banned full-term abortion. Because you can't run around and treat sex like it's nothing. Like, it's a big deal. It is. You can get pregnant. And back in the day, like, you know, you get pregnant, well, that's it. Sort of, you know. Relationships are sacred. The body is a temple. Like, as much as I've always hated religion, and I'm not into religion, but we must acknowledge the divine. We must treat ourselves like a temple. We must treat marriage and, you know, sex as sacred, because it is. And so, you know, how can we live this life if we don't embrace Christianity?
The tether we're going to have to hang on to for the next several days, weeks, months, and even years, because a lot is going to change, and nobody wants to see anybody struggling. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's the man you need to get on your knees and pray to, like you did as a child.
Like, Ricardo is a leader. He's a real man. I don't even think I've ever seen anything like that before in this country. I'm trying to think of it, like, you know, we've been so brainwashed that when the average Australian sees, like, a man like Ricardo, like a strong man, they're like, "Ooh, no, ooh, no." You know, we're just cut so bad. Yeah, I got to meet Ricardo for the first time about a week ago through an online info session, and I got to tell him, "Ricardo, I fucking love you." When I was being gang stalked by filth, as you call it, and thought I was gonna die, like, getting your updates regularly gave me hope that not only that, you know, I could live, but that brave, honourable, badass men were out there. And I said, you know, do you think Jesus is going to come back? And he said, well, he is back. He's in you and he's in me. And I thought, that's true. That's true. But he's also back. He's so back. He's back so strong.
I'm proud to be partnering with my very good friend Lee Greenwood. Who doesn't love his song, God Bless the USA, in connection with promoting the God Bless the USA Bible. This Bible is the King James Version and also includes our founding father documents, yes, the Constitution, which I'm fighting for every single day, very hard, to keep Americans protected. Also, the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, and the Pledge of Allegiance are all part of this God Bless the USA Bible, and it's just very important and very important to me. I want to have a lot of people have it. You have to have it for your heart, for your soul. Many of you have never read them and don't know the liberties and rights you have as Americans and how you are being threatened to lose those rights. It's happening all the time. It's a very sad thing that's going on in our country, but we're going to get it turned around. Religion and Christianity are the biggest things missing from this country, And I truly believe that we need to bring them back, and we have to bring them back fast. I think it's one of the biggest problems we have. That's why our country is going haywire. We've lost religion in our country. All Americans need a Bible in their home, and I have many. It's my favorite book. It's a lot of people's favorite book. This Bible is a reminder that the biggest thing we have to bring back America and to make America great again is our religion. Religion is so important. It's so missing, but it's going to come back, and it's going to come back strong, just like our country is going to come back strong. In the end, we do not answer to bureaucrats in Washington. We answer to God in heaven. Christians are under siege. We must protect content that is pro-God. We love God, and we have to protect anything that is pro-God. We must defend God in the public square and not allow the media or the left-wing groups to silence, censor, or discriminate against us. We have to bring Christianity back into our lives and back into what will be again a great nation. Our founding fathers did a tremendous thing when they built America on Judeo-Christian values. Now that foundation is under attack, perhaps as never before. What can we do? Stand up, speak out, and pray that God will bless America again. I'm proud to endorse and encourage you to get this Bible. We must make America pray again. Pray, get educated, get motivated, and stand with me and the legions of Americans asking God to bless our great nation, to bring our great nation back, and to make America great again. And I think you all should get a copy of God Bless the USA Bible now and help spread our Christian values with others. There you have it. Let's make America pray again. God bless you, and God bless the USA.
Why be a rainbow sprite when you can be a trumpet? When you could be a patriot? I don't know. Make America pray again. Like, I love that. Make America pray again. I don't know. We need, you know what we need? We need the voice of Jesus back. If Jesus was back, what would he sound like? What would he say? I wonder.
And like you say, we're here to scrape the bullshit off the truth. So I thought I'd talk about the formation of America and America's tax structure and how the American people are paying their tax to the United Kingdom and the British monarchy. America is not a sovereign nation. America is a bankrupt nation, and it is owned by the United Kingdom.
Is it a nation or a colony?
It is a plantation. It is also a plantation of the Pope and a colony of Israel. Israel is about the only country that's now colonizing, or that is still colonizing. So America was bankrupted for the first time on the 1st of January 1788 as the United States. This came about through the various wars in America for independence from Great Britain and slavery, which was a construct, as slavery was about to be made redundant by the combine harvester. The combine harvester was first patented 17 years before the Civil War in 1834 by Hiram Moore. The same year, Cyrus McCormick patented the mechanical reaper. This made slaves too expensive to feed, and by the time of the Civil War, 1861, many of the slaves in the South and all of the slaves in the North were already free. The British purpose of these wars, the Civil War and the War of Independence, was not to win them, but to continue them, so that the United States would be bound to Great Britain via debt. This debt has more rule than a colony, is more hidden than a colony, and lasts longer than a colony. US citizens are being farmed on a plantation, it's quote, plantation, by the British monarchy and are only meant to have enough money left for food, clothing, shelter, and reproduction. Tax is supposed to take everything else. It was the American Civil War that removed black slavery and replaced it with tax slavery for all. The British monarchy served the Pope as one of the Pope's representative princes. Some of America's founding fathers were comprised of pedophiles like Benjamin Franklin of the Hellfire Club. The Founding Fathers worked hand in hand with the King Georges to create slavery in America, create wars in America, create war debt in America, and then create a central government to pay back that war debt. For this, these respected gentlemen were honoured by embedded historians and the media as radical American Founding Fathers prepared to act in treason and risk death by being hung, drawn and quartered. In reality and in exchange, they were never at any risk from the British, and the pedophilia was never exposed during their lifetime. Since the military's primary role is to attack whenever and whenever Congress wants it, it would appear that 9/11 was constitutional. Not only was the war debt passed onto every American citizen, but when each gained a birth certificate, their name was written in capital letters, which signified each person was the property of the Corporation of the United States, owned by the UK via war debt. The American War of Independence, 1776-83, was a war of dependence, and the American Civil War, 1861-65, was an uncivil war to enslave all. The money you think you own, you are just renting. The property you think you own is just being held in your name. You're a slave to the cons of history. You're worse off than a slave because you're also a debtor and have to find your own food and shelter after you've been taxed. And we've still got double agents right through government today. And a lot of the members of parliament, senators and congressmen are there because they're sexually compromised. When they talk to the public, they talk in ideology. But ideology has nothing at all to do with politics. Politics is run on an agenda. And that agenda is fulfilled by having politicians who are sexually compromised and who will drop their ideologies in order to maintain their cover. Adolf Hitler was the grandson of Lionel Nathan Rothschild, who was the first Jew in British Parliament. Quote, person, quote, is a non-Jew, and goyim is a non-Jew to be milked, as though cattle on a farm. Marriage is a civil contract to which there are three parties, the husband, the wife, and the state. This means that the state has 1/3 rights to a child and dominant rights as long as it can prove one of the parents is either absent or inadequate. The state further owns the child as collateral to pay off its war debts, either through taxation or sending them into the next war on the bank draft. Now, interesting thing there is if the in a divorce situation, if either the state or one of the parents can prove that one of the parents is absent, then the state has dominant rights to the child. So what the laws are set up so that one parent, usually the mother, grabs the child and virtually kidnaps them, then the father gets, in New Zealand, it's called a protection order against them, which stops him seeing his child for an average of 4 months. No letters, phone, email, text, or physical contact. And then that father is proved to be absent or inadequate. The state then has dominant rights over the child and funds the mother to rear the child. Now, the primary requirement of a pedophile is that the biological father is absent. So the whole family court, custody, social policy is set up to serve pedophiles. Basically, we live under a pedophile's law right through from 1066 on. One of the things that wars do is they kill fathers and then the orphan children. And up until 1910, the word orphan actually meant fatherless. And when a child was orphaned, i.e. with a mother but without a father, they were then sent to the church, and the Catholic churches and even the Anglican Church and other churches, they just have a massive history of pedophilia. Like it's been going on for centuries, hidden for centuries. And if the church has controlled our land, it's also controlled the children and the death of fathers through war. So it's been a massive cycle that we're only just now realising. We live in a counterintelligence world, and it's counterintelligence role to ensure that we do not get any information of any value.
Just do what Jesus tells you. Everything is going to be fine. We need you. We need you, Ricardo. He thought I was like a good little Christian girl, like all excited about Jesus. No, I'm a savage like you. But Jesus is back, and he's the king. Bend the knee. Join us. This is it's the new thing. Like, you know, we need all the good men, but no one can put Humpty Dumpty back together again. You just can't. So.
Julian Assange said, when all is exposed, 98% of Washington will fall. And that sort of sounds like one of those true but sort of exaggerated statements simply for effect. Well, here are the homes put up for sale in just the last 14 days in Washington, D.C. Have a look at that. This is not the time to sell real estate. I'd be waiting a fraction. And this is not financial advice, but if I was looking to buy a home, I'd be waiting while these things you can get it for dimes on the dollar, as my American friends say. That's just in the last 14 days in DC, the houses up for sale. And it ranges from sort of multi-million dollar properties down to a few $100,000. But they all need to get out of town. They've had enough. They're afraid. They're terrified. On top of that, the other profession that's spiking in Washington, D.C. at the moment is lawyers. They are looking for lawyers. If you're a lawyer looking for work, go to Washington, D.C. You have any number of corrupted apron-wearing goat jockeys defending themselves against pedophilia and child sex trafficking. So there you go, folks. It's happening right before your eyes.
The goal for me is to make the West great again. And I think we can do it together. We can.
I just love justice. I live for justice, you know, I live for it. Seeing the tables turning, the bad guys get what they deserve, the good guys get that. That's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for. Us kindred souls, we're finding each other. Doesn't matter, America, Australia, North, South, whatever. You either love the truth or you hate it, right? You hear the truth, you start frothing. Yes, give me more of that truth. Or you hear the truth, you get pissed off because you don't want to face anything. The number one thing that we need is true law.
The birth of the Constitutional Republic of Australia. Now, I've talked about this many, many times. This is where we're headed. That's A1's job. A1's job is not a news service. It's not to tell you what's happening in the US or what's happening. So we'll do that stuff to give you context. But our mission is unchanged from the very beginning. Our purpose is to save Australia. The method is to create a moral political movement that raises every individual to their highest individual potential so all may participate in the reformation of Australia. The end state, Australia is a moral, sovereign, self-reliant Christian, Western, constitutional republic which is economically powerful, militarily intimidating, politically free, culturally vibrant and socially cohesive. That's what we are doing. If you don't like it, that's fine. Go away. We don't need you. We don't want you. Seriously. Go vote for the baby killers. Go vote for the pedophiles like you've been doing all your fucking life because your parents did, because you can't think for yourself. If we cannot or will not stop full-term abortion, we have forfeited our right to our sovereignty. We have forfeited, you can tell I was angry when I typed this, we have forfeited our right to our freedom. We have forfeited all our rights. And just like the toothless meth head and his bride, who has their children removed from their care and locked in prison, so will we. Somebody else has the right to come in and say, you know what, you're just a 27 million meth heads that don't know right from wrong. You're killing babies. We're going to come in and tidy you up. And hopefully you might learn that killing babies is the worst of all possible crimes. You'd rather get your next ute than spend a minute saving babies' lives. Sovereignty, folks. Are you worthy of it? Oh, God said I've got it. Fuck off. Which God? The one that says you can kill babies and that doesn't matter? Oh, I've got Article 61 of Magna Carta. So your sovereignty comes from some king. It's not actually yours, it's a gift from a king, is it? You fucking idiots. The document also says everyone must take an oath to the state, and if you don't, we're going to force you to. So all of a sudden, common law is great, but if you don't agree with us, we're going to force you because we're little dictators. I love you, common law people, but you really ought to get your act together and grow the fuck up. How about you stand on your own 2 feet and say, you know what? I'm sovereign because I say I'm sovereign. I'm going to declare it. I'm going to defend it. That's why, ladies and gentlemen, we might, if we're lucky, the US will help us through this. And let me get, I have no desire to be under the US and under Donald Trump. I mean, I admire what those guys are doing, but this is Australia. Australia for Australians. We've got to stand up our own 2 feet. And we've got to be worthy of it. Every one of you listening to this, if you've done nothing, you better start right now. And you start writing to your MP and saying, full-term abortion must be outlawed. Every last one of you. Doesn't take much to do it. Australia, the joke.
Yep. Agreed.
Well, as they say, not on my watch and not on my wife's watch, nor Sarah's, nor Meg's, or Australia One. We're breaking our back day in, day out to prepare those people who are worthy of it to design a system so we can actually one day stand up and say to our kids, yeah, we fought for the country. And it wasn't with bullets, it was with pen and paper. And we designed a constitution and we persuaded the people that we were capable of this. And these were the rules by which we could create a great civilization, a great nation, a great country. Gentlemen, it's time. It's fucking time. Grow up. Understand that this country will go down or not, depending on what you do. No more skating, no more coasting, no more sitting on a fence. Grow a pair of balls, gentlemen. Stand up. Start working in your local community.
I don't know about legalizing vaping. I mean, that vaping, shrinkage, okay, your children, well, I mean, look, you know, it's very bad. But everything else is great, you know. Anyone reasonable would agree with Australia One policy. Like, anyone reasonable, okay? I don't know about the vaping, but you know, I have a lot of German in my ancestry, so I'm a little bit like Nazi, you know. You can't make that joke. You can't make it, okay? But, you know, it's just my style. It's a bit extreme, but it's for your help. It's for your help. It's for your help. No. It's for your help. What does that even mean, Libby? Definitely, like, we should increase hate speech. But I think we all need to work together. Sue Ellen, and, you know, bend the knee, everybody. You know, bend the knee. You know what? I'm gonna no. ChatGPT doesn't know. Well, it might. Look, Leonardo da Vinci reincarnated uses ChatGPT. Hello. Just Robert Edward Grant.
Ah, now that's a powerful visual.
Hang on.
Da Vinci.
Okay. So, who cares, really? I mean, right? Oh my god. Oh, that's so cute. Cinder, you're so cute. Oh my god, look at this picture.
Is that perhaps what the king was getting at?
It would be nice if we could say how wonderful and welcome it with generosity, but the trouble is it causes more trouble than it helps. The fact is that it's offensive partly to Jews and also to Christians, because this is a Christian festival and it presupposes there are no differences that are essential between Christianity and Islam, but there's some very real problems. Last year, I think, over 4,000 Christians were killed worldwide by Muslims, and this isn't an isolated thing. This is an ongoing act of antagonism between a faith that follows a warlord and a faith that follows Jesus, and to synthesize them together as though they are equivalent, really. It's a theological mistake, but it's also a mistake of hospitality. The king owes his Christian subjects more than to enter into this fiction, and it's profoundly difficult for anyone who's close to suffering communities.
He talks so much about different faiths and religions. It almost seems as though he doesn't have his own religion. It's almost as though he subscribes to all of these religions. He goes that far. We do know that there was a conversation, wasn't there, about whether he was the defender of the faith or faiths plural, and hints that he was moving towards the faiths plural. I mean, it does seem as though he sort of just wants to be a part of every religion.
Well, I'm afraid that's partly true. We have to do a little bit of theology. Jesus said, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father but by me. And the reason for that is no other religion features God as a father. It's a uniquely Christian thing. Now, all religions have things in common and share ethics. So you can either say, this is what's special about Christianity, or this is what's special about everything. But at Easter, he should be saying, this is what's special about Christianity. Jesus is so compelling, so important. He's not the same as Muhammad. And to send out a Christian message suggesting that there's no real difference between them it's disrespectful, I'm afraid.
The West is being invaded. That's not good. It's not good. And it's got to be stopped. Yeah, fuck it all. I'm going to the island. I can't exist in this world anymore without going into rage.
How selfish of me. Let's do all the things that you want to do.
So. Oh. I just can't wait till those flying cars come in. Like, I'm getting a flying car. So I'll be able to ride it around my island. Maybe some other islands. But, yeah. Not, in the West, look, there's rules. So. Arc swimwear. Are you going somewhere hot for Easter? Start planning your bikinis.
Australia One is here to build an ark to carry the people from where they are to where they need to be. It's going to get rough. Storms coming. Flood waters will rise, and we'll drag you out of the water. We'll put a blanket over your shoulders, give you a nice cup of bone broth, and let you know you'll be okay.
Nobody knows. Well, some people know, but I don't know. It's not my job to convince people. Maybe it is my job. I don't know. What is my job? The Hanged Man. Fucking difficult. My job is to be the hanged. Well, it was in reverse. Yeah. Okay, it's my job to be the one, like, Cinderella, like, oh, help me. Oh. I'm hanging here. I'm just hanging here. I'm the hanged woman. I'm the hanged woman. Just hanging here. That's my job. And yet, everybody, I don't know, maybe I'm leading, oops, so ironic. Well, so ironic. So the next steps. All right. Oh, I'm gonna regret this. Well, you always say that, but you don't. Sometimes you do. Yeah, I do. Sometimes I do. Anyway, this is not a good day for me. It's not a day for me. elbow looks so... I have pointy elbows.
Point number 2 speaks to that willingness because the US and other nations have spilled blood and spent treasure to remove, this is the tribulations of war, to remove from the planet the evil that has been running the place. And they're not about to hand it back to us and say, away you go, because they know we will lose it tomorrow. So we have to be worthy before they hand it back. Third point, and this is one that'll stretch people a bit. Our geostrategic position on the planet with its proximity to Antarctica and all that means, and I'm not going to go into it now, but people can dive into the Antarctic question for themselves, means that this patch of dirt on the planet becomes critical to the security of the planet for the rest of the time. This is not just a desert with a few trees on the perimeter that can float along on its own anymore. Most Australians don't understand, but they will very soon understand the importance of our geostrategic position, and it's got very little to do with the fact that we're a Western nation in Asia.
Can we have a new type of Christianity that doesn't have all the BS and just keeps what is true and holy? Maybe we can. It's just even the word is tarnished now. We might need a new word. We gotta reclaim the rainbow. You know, it's our rainbow. Give us the rainbow back. We're gonna make the rainbow great again. Look, I don't want to get political. It's a bit late for that though, but I don't want to get political. I don't know why I'm talking about this. Okay, I'm over it. I'm retiring. I'm done. Okay, I'm done. It's Liberation Day. Alright, you guys, like, good luck. I'm gonna go to the island and chill. I'm just gonna chill.